The Davis administration is now known as a government that takes pleasure in taxing the Bahamian people more and more. This started with the Davis bread basket tax. The Prime Minister chose to place a 10% VAT on the food working class Bahamians need to live. To this day, the terrible decision contributes to the inflation problem. Madam Speaker, we are faced here in the Bahamas with two inflation: the world's inflation and the brave Davis inflation. The brave Davis inflation, the 10% charge on bread basket items. The brave Davis inflation is the 10% charge on medication. The brave Davis's inflation is the increase in real property tax threefold, causing greater stress to the middle class. The brave Davis inflation is the application of this increase in real property tax on individuals' mortgages, putting their payment out of reach and therefore placing them even under greater stress. The brave Davis inflation, Madam Speaker, is the inner city as being declared a tax-free zone, and still today they are trying to enforce those individuals to pay for what they're entitled to under the law. That's the brave Davis inflation. The brave Davis inflation is the increase in electricity bills that we see subsequently being displayed or seen within the business sectors, restaurants, etc. Madam Speaker, the brave Davis inflation is now possibly causing businesses to close because it is their intention, it was announced, that the rent that individuals are to pay to landowners, the government would collect such rent, thus the landowners would not be able to meet their mortgage payments and subsequently lose their business places. The brave Davis inflation appears even worse than the world's inflation. Then, Madam Speaker, there was the decision to not properly follow through on the BPL hedge strategy my administration left in place. This spectacular failure by the Prime Minister means that electricity bills are rising and they will skyrocket in the months to come. This summer, Madam Speaker, Bahamian families and Bahamian businesses will see some of the highest electricity bill in recent memory. Bahamians should begin to prepare for a very difficult summer. Madam Speaker, it gets worse. The Davis administration is about to unleash another heartless tax increase, this time on health insurance. It's already on medication. The Davis administration plans to stop insurance companies from recovering VAT on health insurance claims. This will lead to large VAT costs being passed on to consumers. Bahamians with health insurance, including older people, should expect huge new costs on their health bills. Madam Speaker, so as to put it in perspective, surgery, especially cancer surgery, neurological or neurosurgery, hip surgery, knee surgery, ankle surgery, bone surgery, can cost well in excess of $50 to $100,000. And God help you if you go to ICU, you're talking about an additional $100,000 to $200,000. Those individuals, if they attend the doctor here and receive a bill of $50,000 to $100,000, the insurance company may cover that. But those individuals would have a bill of $10,000 to $20,000 VAT that they cannot afford. If, on the other hand, they went to the US, their cost is covered 100%. Where do you think they would go, Madam Speaker? Why would I stay here to pay an additional $20,000 after the insurance has paid my claim when I can go to the US, receive discount, and no additional charges? Madam Speaker, they must think of it seriously. Again, I am amazed. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, road traffic insurance follows the same pattern as the insurance the health insurance that I spoke about. And the question must be asked, is the government to balance what they want to do? Will they do the same thing to vehicular accident, your claim? After the insurance pay the $4,000 or $5,000 claim, will you now have to pay $400 or $500? Madam Speaker, the government must think serious about that. I am amazed at the PLP administration that professes to care about the people would do such a heartless thing. I know you don't agree with that. I won't call names, but I can see faces. The Minister of State in the office of the Prime Minister has foreshadowed numerous times the need to increase NIB contribution rates. When this happens, more money will be taken away from the Bahamian people by the Davis administration. And to compound all of this, we see and hear story after story at how frustrated Bahamian businesses are with all the requirements needed to have their businesses properly licensed and registered.